Hello. Now that my hair is fixed, sorry about that. I didn't realize till like halfway through filming. I'm like, wait a minute, my hair's all dicked up. Is it not? Yeah, it is. Oh well. Anyway, welcome back everybody to part 21. Excuse me. So excited I had to get that out. Part 21 of my 2025 DVD and Blu-ray collection overview. So again, once more, for those of you that came in late, what I'm doing now is I'm looking at all the stuff on the top of the shelves here, but instead of standing up, taking them off, putting them back, I'll just sit on the floor, grab a bunch of stacks at a time, go through them in the course of a segment or what have you, and we'll just go from there. Make it a little bit easier. It can be a little more comfortable. I like the backdrop a little bit better here, so there you go. But let's go ahead and roll right in. So I do have a couple few Dolph Lundgren movies still on DVD. So first up, I have the Australian release of Red Scorpion. This was actually sent to me. I forget who it was. I'm sorry. But they sent me a bunch of these DVDs that they didn't want anymore. And I was like, sure, I'll take them. It's no big deal. But yeah, this is the Australian version. I don't know why I said it like I should have said it like this. It's Australian. My bad. So there's that. And then we have Army of One. Now the reason why I kept this on DVD, as I mentioned a couple parts ago, with the Blu-ray version, they did the ending where Dolph I think he just shoots the one guy and then he kills the other one. This one is the unrated version, and this has the ending where he actually fights the two guys and then he kills them. Yeah, in the other version, I think George Siegel, he just like kicks him and then he shoots him, and then the other guy he just shoots. But here it's more of a fight scene and stuff like that, which is the ending that I prefer. Now, the ending is available as an extra feature, but they didn't incorporate it into the movie through a branching option or whatever, because apparently it's very difficult to do branching options on Blu-rays. You can hear the sarcasm in my voice because I just don't fucking understand that. I don't understand why it's so difficult for them to do branching options, because they did it on DVD with no problem, but apparently they can't do it on a Blu-ray. So there you go. Now the shitty thing is this is in full screen, so it is what it is. But that's the reason why I kept this on DVD, because it has the ending that me and a lot of other people prefer. So there you go. So hopefully, maybe one day, maybe I'll look around and see if there is a Blu-ray out there which has that ending or the option to choose that ending or what have you, because I just don't understand why they wouldn't do that. Again, it's just laziness. At least in my opinion. Now, these next two are on Blu-ray. They're just very hard to find on Blu-ray. So first up, we have Bridge of Dragons, which Kerry Tagawa played the bad guy. I just watched this. I really like this one. This is New Image. This was also an HBO premiere back in the day when they would do those. And they used to run this movie on there a lot, so I would watch it quite frequently. But I still really like this film. I think it's really good. Like I said, there is a German Blu-ray out there, but it's really hard to come by. I've never seen it on eBay or anything like that. It does exist. It is real. It's just difficult to find. So I still have the old Schnapper case DVD for the time being. So there you go. And then we have Detention. I actually really like this film. I know director-screenwriter Rich, he said he really likes this movie as well. And I think he told me this is one of the movies that he's rewatched the most, which is pretty cool. But I do remember when this one came out. I remember renting it on DVD when it first came out back in the day. As I said, there is a German, like with Bridge of Dragons, there is a German Blu-ray for this. I've seen it on eBay a couple times. Dolph, I love you. I like this movie, but I'm not paying $100 to get this on Blu-ray, so I won't do it. I'm a man of principle. So if it ever comes up cheaper, I'll look into it. But until then, I'll stick with the DVD. But again, I'm not paying $150, $100 to get it on Blu-ray. I won't do it. So there you go. But I do like that. It's Die Hard at a high school. It's just me though. All right, and then the rest of this pile is actually all Don the Dragon Wilson, which another guy unfortunately went full retard. Here's what I don't understand about a lot of martial artists. Myself, me being a martial artist, not myself included, but there's a lot of martial artists out there that went woke and they want to be social justice warriors and everything. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You teach other people how to kill people. You teach other people how to protect themselves. Why would you think that way? Why would you be a fucking liberal? Why would you, again, you are literally your job, and I hate to use that word because everybody uses it, but your entire job or whatever, you are teaching people to kick the shit out of each other and how to kill one another, and I don't understand that. Most of the people that I've trained with, most of the people that I know, we all kind of look at things the same way, but I just don't understand how some of these guys and women, again, they teach people how to kick the shit out of each other and snap their bodies in half. But, we gotta be nice. We gotta be nice. We gotta love each other. We need to be nice to each other. Okay, really? Shut the fuck up. Anyway, just teach me how to break shit, alright? So first up, we have a double feature of Blood Fist 1 and 2. I do have the first Blood Fist on Blu-ray because Shout Factory put that out, Scheme Factory put that out, Scam Factory put that out when they were still working with Roger Corman. Because I guess Roger Corman still had control of the Blood Fist movies, but they only ever put out the first one. And then they put out, they did Blood Fist, I have them up there, Black Belt, and then Future Kick. Future Kick sucks, okay? That's one of Don the Dragon Wilson's worst movies. I don't like that movie. So instead of giving us all the Blood Fist movies, we only got the first one. So I do have this because of Blood Fist 2. So there you go. But I like the first two. I remember. After that, it gets a little sketchy because I haven't watched them in a long time. And I actually just got Blood Fist 2 on VHS the other day, along with Ring of Fire 2. But this is the Ring of Fire trilogy, which the only one I really remember is the third one, but I liked all three. So there you go. But the first two, well, the first one, it's these kickboxing gangs are fighting each other, and Don the Dragon's character gets in the middle. The second one, it's like this underground. He has to go underground and fight all these different people. That one was pretty cool. And then the third one, he becomes a doctor for some reason, and then he's going to stop these terrorists because they're trying to sell these missiles and stuff, and he's up in the mountains. That one I remember watching quite a bit because Showtime used to run that a lot back in the day. So I used to watch that. But yeah, we got the Ring of Fire trilogy. These are on Blu-ray, but they only came out in Germany, so I'll try to get those at some point. And then we got the Dragon Pack, which has Blood Fist 3, Forced to Fight, Blood Fist 4, Die Trying, and then Black Belt. Once again, I do have Black Belt on Blu-ray, but Blood Fist 3 and 4 have never come out on Blu-ray as of yet. And it's funny because they use the VHS boxes on the back here. I always thought that was kind of interesting. But Blood Fist 3 was when he was in prison. That one was alright. Blood Fist 4, that's the one... Is that the one where he's like the Repo Man? I think Gary Daniels is in that as one of the bad guys, if I'm not mistaken. And then Katya Sassoon, who was the daughter of Vidal Sassoon, the guy that does all the hair care products. Unfortunately, she died. Unfortunately, she killed herself. But they were trying to make her a thing for a while because she did a bunch of these kind of movies. So there you go. But and then the thing with the after Bloodfist 2, they were all different movies, and then they just called them Bloodfist just to sell more copies of them because they were all Roger Corman produced them. But like, and you could if people are like you're lying, I'm like I'm not lying because you can find VHS tapes where it's just called Forced to Fight, not Bloodfist 3. Manhunt, I think, was Bloodfist 7. You can find a VHS tape that's just called Manhunt. So they did not have the Bloodfist title until I think a little bit later, just so I guess they could sell more copies of them because he plays a different after part 2, he plays a different character and they're all different kind of movies. So there's that. Excuse me. And then we have his Terminator knockoff, Cyber Tracker. This is PM Entertainment. But no, this was Imperial. I'm sorry, Imperial, my bad. But I actually quite like this one. I thought this one and the sequel were pretty fun. We'll get to the sequel in a minute here. But Richard Norton was in this. He was one of the bad guys. And then Stacey Foster, I think, wasn't she in Excessive Force 2? I think it was her, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's a Terminator knockoff, but it's pretty fun. And then we've got Bloodfist 5, Human Target, which again, you can find VHS tapes that are just called Human Target. But I think this is the one, yeah, he loses his memory. See, now it's all coming back. He loses his memory, and he's got to go after the people that fucked with him. Yuji Okamoto, who played Chosen in Karate Kid, he's in this. Steve James is in this. It's actually one of the last movies he did, unfortunately. Don Stark, who most people know from That 70s Show, but he's I think one of the bad guys in here. So yeah, like I said, now they're starting to come back. Then we've got Bloodfist 6, Ground Zero, which is Die Hard at a missile silo, which this one was actually pretty fun from what I remember. Steve Garvey, yes. The Steve Garvey, the baseball player, is in this. Who else is in this one? Katya Sassoon is in this too, so she got to work with the Dragon twice. So there you go. Yeah, it's Die Hard at a missile silo, and that one's actually quite fun. Then we have Night Hunter, where he played a vampire slayer, but it's weird because the only way to kill the vampires is if you snap their spine. Yes, I know that makes absolutely zero fucking sense, but that's what they decided to do with this movie. And I do remember as a kid at like Kmart and places like that back in the day, you know, the stores or whatever, I remember always seeing this VHS tape in there. And I knew who Don the Dragon Wilson was. I'm like, oh, well, he's the kickboxing, one of the greatest kickboxers of all time, because he is. He's definitely, and that's what I don't understand, because now all he talks about is fucking politics and everything. It's really annoying. But this is a guy, one of the greatest kickboxers ever, had a hell of a movie career. He made all these movies. A lot of these movies were very successful. And you choose to just complain about the president and everything? Like, really? Okay, must be nice. Anyway. But I just was like, okay, he's a vampire slayer. He's got a shotgun on the cover. You know, I kind of want to see this movie. And then I saw it. I do like it, you know, but, like, what's the deal with you having to kill the vampires by snapping their spine? It doesn't make any fucking sense, but I guess they were trying something different. I don't know. And then we have Cyber Tracker 2, which this is PM Entertainment. I guess they bought the rights from Imperial. The first one is not, but this one is. But again, a pretty fun Terminator knockoff. Tony Burton, who played Duke in the Rocky films, he's in it. John Kazir is in it, who did the voice of the Crypt Keeper. So there you go. And I think this one was more of a knockoff of Terminator 2, because I think there was two Cyber Trackers, and one was good and one was bad. Like I said, it's been a while since I've watched these, but again, these are I'm a sucker for a Terminator knockoff. You know, I can't complain too much about that. So it is what it is, I suppose. Then we have Blood Fist 7, Manhunt. Which one is this? He's on the run with no law to turn to. He rescues a beautiful woman from low-life thugs and gets entangled in a web of police corruption and a murder he didn't commit. I don't remember this one, sorry. So yeah, this is where it gets a little fuzzy. But Stephen Williams is in it, so I can't complain about that. So there we go. And then we have Blood Fist 8, Hard Way Out, which I think this is the one with where he goes like on the run with his kid. He's a teacher, and then these guys try to kill him, and then we find out that, you know, he was a CIA killer and shit. Okay. So part 7 is really the only one I don't remember. So, got to give myself a little more credit, I suppose. Then we have Operation Cobra, which I did review this right before the old channel got shut down. This one was fucking terrible. It was lame. It was boring. Oddly enough, there's a director's commentary on here. You know, there's some extra features, but this one was lousy, at least in my opinion. And then we have The Capitol Conspiracy, which is who's in this? I know Evan Laurie is in this one, but I thought he was also in this one. I guess not. But yeah, I don't really remember this one. So, there we go. And again, I got it for a couple of dollars. Then we have Moving Target, which was a remake of one of the Blood Fist movies. I think Blood Fist 5 or something. I think it was 5. But this one's kind of weird. It was shot in Ireland because Roger Corman had just opened up a studio in Ireland. So I think this one and Blood Fist 8 were shot there because he was trying to take advantage of the studio. And it's weird because he meets this woman dating online, and this came out in 2000, so it was the early days of internet dating, and then he gets caught up in this conspiracy. Yeah, it's kind of an oddball movie, but I do like it, so I can't complain. And then we have one of the last movies that he did, well, the next two before he kind of retired for a little bit, but this is Redemption, which I thought was alright. This one has Cynthia Rothrock is in it, as you can see on the cover. Chris Penn is in it. Chris Penn and Don the Dragon Wilson were actually very good friends. So there you go. Yeah, just shut up about fucking Trump and talk more about Chris Penn. So there you go. Sam Jones is in it. I want to say Carrie Stevens is in this. Or maybe I'm getting it confused with another movie. Carrie Stevens, she was a model back in the day. She used to date Eric Carr from Kiss. But I want to say that she was in this, but I could be wrong. Because I know they did one movie together. Maybe it's not this one. I don't know. Anyway. And then we have Extreme Fighter, which was, But the reason why I have it on Blu-ray, but the reason why I have it on DVD is because the extra features from here did not end up on the Blu-ray. So there you go. But it's got... And I remember when this came out, because I was like, okay, cool, Lorenzo Lamas is in it, The Renegade, Cynthia Rothrock is in it, Don the Dragon Wilson, I think Chris Casamassa is in it as well, who played Scorpion in the first Mortal Kombat. I think he's in it, I'm not sure. But it tries to deal with like virtual reality and going into the video game, and it was geared more for kids, so you know it's okay, but it's man. And then we have Mass Destruction, which this is actually one of his kickboxing matches. This is when he came back, I think in 2002 or 99. I'm sorry, he came back in 1999 after retirement, and he actually won the fight too. He fought Dick Kimber, who was a big kickboxer at the time, and also Rick Rufus is on here. I think Rick Rufus just died, if I'm not mistaken. Stan Longadias is on here, so a bunch of great kickboxers. All good stuff on here. But yeah, this is when he came back after making movies and stuff. Got back in the ring, and again, he actually won the fight. So there you go. All right, so that's it for that pile. Let's go ahead and get into this one. If I could stop bumping the camera. So first up, we have another episode of Classic Albums. This is for Motorhead's Ace of Spades, which again, I did review this on the channel, the old channel, right before it got shut down. I had to buy the DVD because I couldn't find it anywhere, but I do like these. I just wish they were a little bit longer. Again, they're made for TV, so they're only about an hour each, but, good stuff in there, at least in my book. And then another Disney cartoon, which I don't know why they've never released this as a full series, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the only DVD they ever put out, but it's House of Mouse, and it's called Villains. So it has, I think, a couple episodes on here. But I used to watch this all the time back in the day. But yeah, I don't know why this one has never come out fully on DVD. And I think this is the only DVD that they did put out, if I'm not mistaken. So there you go. It's the House of Mouse. And yeah, Brian Setzer actually did the theme song, which was cool. Sorry, I thought I had a booger in there. My bad. Next up, we've got Dunstan Checks In, childhood favorite. Of course, this is never going to come out on Blu-ray because Disney owns it. Fox never put it out on Blu-ray when they had it. I think this was a big flop when it came out, but this is one of those movies that was always on TV when I was a kid, whether it was on cable or the movie channels or what have you, but I would always watch it. And again, it's just a childhood favorite. Cannot go wrong with Dunstan Checks In. Rupert Everett is great. He was a great bad guy, man. He was great as Dr. Claw or Mr. Claw, whatever. I think in the movie he was Mr. Claw. In the show he was Dr. Claw. Inspector Gadget, he was great in that. He's great in this as the bad guy. I think this was the first movie, or one of the first movies that Paul Reubens did after he got busted. And he gets to play like an animal exterminator. It's actually quite funny, but yeah, I've always enjoyed this film. Again, it's just one of those classic 90s childhood movies that I'm sure a lot of you watched as well. So there you go. Next up, we have Van Helsing, The London Assignment, which is the animated prequel to the movies. I really like this, and I don't know why they did not include this on the Blu-ray release for Van Helsing, because it's only 30 minutes. I don't know why they just didn't put it on there. So it's stuck on DVD, but I think maybe he didn't. I want to say that Peter Chung worked on this, but maybe he did not. But I really like this. It would have been cool if they did more of these, but unfortunately I don't think it did that well. But this came out, I think, like the week before the movie premiered in theaters, and it's like the prequel to the movie. But this is pretty good. I actually quite enjoyed this, and like I said, I don't know why they never included it on any Blu-ray around the world. It's only 30 minutes. You can definitely put it on a Blu-ray as an extra feature. I guess because the movie didn't do that well, it just said fuck it or what have you. But I think that's pretty cool, at least in my book. And Hugh Jackman actually does the voice of Van Helsing on there, which is awesome. Next, a movie that I wish was on Blu-ray, but it probably never will because it's HBO. But Gotti, which was a HBO original movie, but apparently it did very, very well back in the day. I think it was the highest rated HBO original film of all time up until that point. And I really enjoy this. I think this is a really solid movie, really solid mafia film. There is an HD version out there, because if you go on the streaming sites and stuff, it actually is in HD. So why they're not putting it out on Blu-ray, or why they never have, is beyond me. But this is really good. It's got a great cast. Armand Assante killed it as John Gotti, unlike John Travolta in that shitty movie that he did. But Really good. William Forsythe plays Sammy Gravano in here. Anthony Quinn is in this. A bunch of people that ended up on The Sopranos a couple years after this came out. So there you go. And then Gary Lucchese produced it, who was the head of Paramount for a while. But good stuff. If you've never seen it, check it out. There's going to be no fucking deals. No fucking deals. Best line of the movie. Prove me wrong. Next up, we have the Watchers and Watchers 2 double feature, which this was out of print forever, and it was expensive, but I was able to find this cheap. Watchers 2 I do have on Blu-ray because Scam Factory put that out because Roger Corman still owned the rights to the second movie. He's unfortunately passed away, but Roger Corman did not own the rights to the first movie. That was through Universal. So why Universal has never put out the first movie is beyond me. But there is bootlegs out there of the first movie because once again there is HD versions of the film out there. So they have done a remaster. They just don't want to put it out on disc. So for now I do have this, but really enjoy these movies. Really good creature features, particularly Watchers 2. Because Mark Singer, in my book, is underrated. I know everybody knows him from The Beastmaster and V, but in the 90s, he made a bunch of these movies. You know, these kind of movies where he was the hero, bunch where he was the villain. Always really liked his work. And Watchers 2 kicks ass. And I like the first one quite a bit as well, because it's Corey Haim in a creature feature, and he gets to fight monsters, and he's got a dog, and it's cool. So there you go. But hopefully one day the first Watchers will get an official Blu-ray. Like I said, there is bootlegs out there, you know, but maybe I'll pick one up soon. I don't know. We'll see. I think this is the only Jet Li movie I have on DVD left. But this is Legend of the Swordsman, aka Swordsman 2, and Jet Li was not in the first one. But this is the American release. This is, as far as I know, this has never come out on Blu-ray in any part of the world, but you know, I do have it. This is when Dimension, aka Disney, had the rights to a lot of these Jet Li films, and they were just pumping them out on VHS back in the day like crazy. So there you go. So we get the insert, and then we get another little booklet, and there's I think that's the rest of them. They did Legend of the Swordsman, The Legend 1 and 2, Twin Warriors, The Enforcer, The Defender, and Fist of Legend. Yeah, and I have, I think, pretty much all those on Blu-ray under their original titles and such. But yeah, this is when when Dimension Films was trying to compete with Sony and New Line and getting all, you know, the Jackie Chan movies and stuff. But I forgot this was in here. But bunch of great movies there. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, of course I have that. Mimic, which the sequels are not good, but the first Mimic I like. Dracula 2000 I like. The Faculty I love. I like Phantoms. I love The Crow. Scream 1 and 2 I love. From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn 2 was okay. I didn't mind that one. Hellraiser sequels, Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers, H2O, Texas Rangers, which I talked about, I think, in the last part. Best of the Best 3 and 4, City on Fire, Men of War with Dolph, Reindeer Games, which is a Christmas movie, Bounty Hunters 1 and 2 with Dudikoff. I've never seen the Prophecy movies. They're on here. Highlander 3 and 4. Yeah, then a bunch of Jackie Chan movies, which all those are on Blu-ray except Super Cop 2. But Jackie Chan only has a cameo in that. But yeah, I forgot. Totally forgot this was in here. And then you get the chapter insert. So there you go. But yeah, as far as I know, this does not have a Blu-ray in America. Or not in America, anywhere, actually. Next up, we have The Core, which I do like this film. I know everybody shits on it. It's not realistic. It's not I know it's not realistic. You know why? Because it's a fucking movie. That's why. Ding dong. Hello, McFly. It's a movie. I know that's hard for people to believe, but I like it. And there is a Blu-ray, I just don't have it on Blu-ray. Look, I get it. It's an opinion. But there's just, when people talk, oh, it's not realistic. Well, no fucking shit, lady. Do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza? I know it's not realistic. It's a movie. I don't want it to be realistic. I want to be entertained for 2 hours. Apparently that's too much to ask for. So there you go. Next up we have The Sandlot Heading Home, which this is the third Sandlot movie, which was the only sequel that I like. Sandlot 2 was terrible. But I did like this one because they actually brought back Squints in here, which is cool. And then Luke Perry is the lead, and he gets hit on the head, and he goes back, like he gets transported back to when he was a kid and stuff like that. So, yeah, this one I did like. Sandlot 2 was terrible. It was basically just a remake of the first film. But this one's okay. Of course, it is Disney, so it's never going to come out on Blu-ray. And then I have a couple Thomas Ian Griffith films. First up, we have Excessive Force, which I really enjoy this film. I've always really enjoyed this film. I think that this is a pretty solid, underrated 90s action movie that definitely should get more attention and more love. It came out, I want to say it came out earlier this year. I could be wrong, and maybe late last year. But there is a German Blu-ray of this movie. I want to get it soon. Before they go out of stock or out of print and shit like that. But again, I really like this film. It didn't do well because I think New Line got cold feet, and they only dumped it in like 200 theaters. And I think Thomas Ian Griffith was really disappointed with that because New Line approached him. They're like, "Hey, we want you to be our action guy," and he was like, "Okay, sounds great." And unfortunately, it didn't go anywhere because I think it was like the Jeff Speakman thing. After this, his movies went straight to video and lost the momentum and everything. But also, this was 5 years after Karate Kid 3, so maybe people were already checked out. I don't know, but again, I have always really enjoyed this film ever since I first saw it when I was a kid. It's just a really solid flick. If you have not seen it, check it out. It's got great shootouts. It's got great fights. Really good casting in it as well. Really good stuff. I just got it back on VHS actually because I did have it on VHS back in the day, and then I got rid of it because again at the time I was not collecting VHS as much as I do now, and I just said fuck it. I went and grabbed some of his movies that I didn't have on video back again. But again, I can't get enough of that movie. I would love it because it's Warner Brothers. We'll see what happens, but I would love if Arrow or somebody put that out because they would definitely get Thomas Ian Griffith for an interview because he does do interviews, which is cool because he did one for vampires. I would love if that movie got some extra features. Hell yeah. Anyway, the only other one that I have on DVD right now is I'm trying to think. No, because Cracker Jack never got a DVD officially. I think the ones out there are bootlegs, which I did like that film. This Hollow Point did get a DVD. Behind Enemy Lines has a Blu-ray. I just got that on Blu-ray. I think Time Cop 2 I have elsewhere. We'll cover that later. I think that might be it though, out of the movies he did that I liked. But then we have Hollow Point, which this was New Image. Yeah. But good stuff. Him and Tia Carrere, Tia Carrere's an FBI agent. Thomas Ian Griffith is a DEA agent. They team up to go after John Lithgow, who's the bad guy, and then they have to work with Donald Sutherland, who's like kind of a bad guy. But it's got some good action, good stuff in here. I like this movie. I doubt it would ever come out on Blu-ray, maybe in Germany or something, but here in the States, probably not. But I like that. Next up, we have the only good Transformers movie, as far as I'm concerned, the animated film. This is the 20th anniversary edition, which there is Blu-rays out there. It seems like every other year they're re-releasing it on Blu-ray for some reason, because Scam Factory was doing that this is a steelbook. This is a different slipcover or whatever. Fuck off. But I don't think any of the Blu-ray, because I've looked, I don't think any of the Blu-rays have all the extra features that are on this DVD. Again, I have to look around a little more, but I'm pretty sure that like some of the commentaries and stuff didn't end up on the Blu-rays. But yeah, I like the Transformers movie. Now I know a lot of people got pissed when they killed off Optimus Prime, but it didn't matter because they brought him back in the series anyway, so because people got so pissed about it. And then for the G.I. Joe movie, they were going to kill off Duke. And then when people got pissed about Transformers, they're like, don't kill off Duke. So they changed the line to make it sound like Duke was still alive. So there you go. Oh, well. Next up, we have Deep Cover. I actually really enjoy this. I think this is a solid thriller crime film. It's actually directed by Bill Duke. Yes, Mac from Predator and Cook from Commando, amongst other films. But this was kind of like New Jack City because it came out right after that. But this does actually have a Criterion Blu-ray, which I do want to pick up. I love Lawrence Fishburne. Anytime he gets the star in a movie, I'm good. Jeff Goldblum is there as well. But pretty solid movie. Can't go wrong with Deep Cover. Then we have American Kickboxer 1. Why they put 1 in the title, I do not know, but they did do, I'll get to that in a second. They did do a sequel, but I'll get to that in a second. This one's not too bad. It was funny because I was doing a stream one time and I was talking about how the rights to this film were up for sale. It was the 35 millimeter negative, and then there was a digital copy for it, and then it was all the rights to the movie. I think they wanted like $250,000 or something for it. I don't know if it actually sold or not, but the rights of this film were up for sale for a while. So and I was joking. I'm like, we should all just put our money together and buy it, and then we can sell it to Vinegar Syndrome or somebody, and they can do a Blu-ray. So there you go. But not a bad martial arts film. It stars John Barrett. John Barrett was actually under Chuck Norris for a while. And then he was, a lot of people don't know this, but John Barrett was the original fight coordinator for Power Rangers for the first season. But again, a lot of people don't know that, but it is true. And then Keith Vitale is in it as well, who worked with Jackie Chan, and he was in Revenge of the Ninja and other movies. Now again, they did do a sequel, but it gets confusing. The actual sequel is called To the Death, and it is a canon film. But then they did a American Kickboxer 2, but that has nothing to do with this movie. And it's a different company and an even lower budget than this one. But yeah, they did do a sequel. It's called, like I said, To the Death, which does have John Barrett as the same character. But then they did a sequel in name only, and it gets a little confusing. So I just wanted people to know that. So there you go. Then we have The Departed. The reason why I still have the DVD is because this has a documentary about Martin Scorsese, which has never been released anywhere else. It's called Scorsese on Scorsese. Turner Classic Movies did it. I think it's on the second disc, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's a feature-length documentary. And like I said, it is only available on the special edition DVD of The Departed. It never got an individual release. It's not on any of the Blu-rays. It's not on the 4K. I guess they lost the license for it. Warner Brothers lost the license for it or what have you. But like I said, it is only available on this particular DVD, which is why I kept it. And I don't mind because it's Martin Scorsese, and I actually love The Departed. I think it's a great movie. Who let this IRA motherfucker in my bar? I'm just kidding you. How's your mother? She's on the way out. Aren't we all? Next up, we got some Dan Inosanto DVDs here. These are bootlegs. They're copies. You can get them on his website, but I found these pretty cheap. But they're just, somebody just ripped them from a VHS. But first up, we have the Filipino Martial Arts, which is a 6-disc set. I actually, speaking of VHS, I do have these on VHS as well. I'm just trying to see if they're labeled. It doesn't say what's covered, what material is covered on here. I haven't watched these in years. I got to give these another watch here. Then we got 3 and 4. And then 5 and 6. And then the back is the same on all of them. But yeah, it does not say what material is covered. But love Dan Inosanto, one of the all-time great, which I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but in my opinion, especially in the martial arts, guys like Bruce Lee, Dan Inosanto, Chuck Norris, they are the greats. They are the true legends, in my opinion. Not everybody in the martial arts is one of the greats or a legend, even though a lot of them like to seem to think they are. Jeff Speakman would definitely be up there. Bill Superfoot Wallace would be up there. Ed Parker. Guys like that. So there you go. But I have trained with him a couple times. I would love maybe, I don't train anymore, but maybe, I don't know, try to get a couple more seminars with him, because he will be 90 in 2026. So, I hate to say it, but he is getting older. He is slowing down a little bit. I've seen some recent videos and stuff. He is starting to kind of slow down a little bit. Maybe just get a couple more opportunities to work out with him. So we'll see. And then we have the Definitive Collection, which is 9 volumes. And what's really cool about this is Eric Paulson, who I would put in the category of one of the greats as well, is in here too, which is pretty cool. And these are actually labeled as to what is covered in them. So Volume 1 is Jun Fan Kickboxing, and Volume 2 is Jun Fan Trapping. Of course, Jun Fan was Bruce Lee's real or Chinese name, Lee Jun Fan. So this is the Jeet Kune Do Bruce Lee philosophy of kickboxing and trapping. So there you go. Which, again, I have said a million times, but some people don't want to listen. Jeet Kune Do was Bruce Lee's personal philosophy. That was his view of the martial arts and life. I love when all these people, I'm a black belt in Jeet Kune Do. Well, no, that's not how that works. But sure, bless your heart. But that was Bruce Lee's philosophy, which many people have said. Gary Daniels, Dan Inosanto. That's why when Dan Inosanto teaches, that material, it's just, this was Bruce's philosophy, and this was, his look of this and everything, because that's what it was. It was not a martial art. It was his personal philosophy. And again, that's just, I love when people try to claim that they're an expert in Jeet Kune Do and they're a black belt in Jeet Kune Do. Well, first of all, Bruce Lee didn't do the ranking. He didn't do the belts. He didn't do all that. So you're wrong on that. And number 2, how can you say you're an expert when it's not your philosophy? So there's that. Then we have Volume 3 and 4. Volume 3 is Jun Fan Grappling. And then Volume 4 is, I always butcher this because I'm terrible, but Pan Atukan, I think is, or Pananatukan. I think Pananatukan, I think is how you say it, which is that's the Filipino grappling. So there you go. And then we've got Volume 5 and 6, which is Dumag, which is Volume 5, which is more Filipino grappling, and then Volume 6 is, then we're getting into our Filipino sticks. So single stick is Volume 6, because you got to do one. You got to start with 1, and then you go to 2. Everybody wants to start with 2 because it looks cooler, but you got to learn how the stick works and how it moves before you could start doing 2. Because you can't go like this with both. You could, but you have to flow with it. Boom, 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 boom. It has to flow. You gotta learn how to do it both. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So there's that. Anyway, now I'm getting into teaching mode. Then we have volume 7 and 8. Volume 7 is Stick and Dagger. Volume 8 is it says Edge Weapon. I think it's mostly knives, if I remember correctly, but it's knives and swords. That's Defense 1. And then volume 9 is Edge Weapon Defense 2. And like I said, and the back is the same for all these as well. I have not watched these in forever. I need to give those a look-see, as they say. As the kids say. Excuse me. Next up, we have Daredevil, which this is the theatrical version because, number one, the Blu-ray is only the director's cut. Why they couldn't put... Now, I prefer the director's cut. I think the director's cut is much better. That's just me. But why they couldn't put the director's cut, or the theatrical version, rather, with the director's cut on the Blu-ray, I don't know. And then also, this has a commentary track with the director, and I want to say Avi Arad, who of course worked with Marvel. No, I'm sorry, Gary Foster is the name of the producer. That commentary was done for the theatrical cut. The Blu-ray has a different commentary, which was done by just the director for the director's cut. So that's why I still have this DVD. But yes, the director's cut is the way better version. That's the version that should have come out, at least as far as I'm concerned. And why they couldn't put both on a Blu-ray is beyond me. So for the sake of having the original theatrical cut and the different commentary track, I'll hold on to that one. Then we have Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego? Now this is the actual series. This is not the game shows and stuff. I don't even think those ever came out on home video. But this is the series that was on Fox Kids back in the day that I used to watch when it was originally on. So there you go. But good old Mill Creek, when they were pumping these out like crazy. They changed the name. It's not Mill Creek anymore for whatever reason they changed it. But it's got a bonus episode of Liberty's Kids, which we'll cover that in another part because I do have that on DVD. And then the Secret Garden bonus movie. So there you go. But love this cartoon. Always really enjoyed it when I was a little baby Chad. So there's that. And then another Mill Creek release, we have the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. Now, this is an 80s show, so of course I was not alive in the 80s, but when the movie came out, which the movie is fucking terrible, the original movie with Marlon Wayans, Fox Kids actually reran this, and I used to watch it on there, because I had no clue, because again, in 2000, at 8 years old, I did not have a computer, I did not have access to the internet, there was no home video releases of this show at the time, and I was thinking, wait, there's a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon? Okay, I want to watch this. So I watched it when they did those reruns back then. Now, this is the re-release. What's the name of the company? Ink and Paint. BCI Eclipse, that was the name. They released this originally, and that had extra features and everything. But I don't know what it goes for now because I haven't looked in a while. But those, of course, are all out of print. And some of those BCI Eclipse cartoons actually were pretty expensive. Like some of the later He-Man sets were expensive, but I was able to finagle around and get decent prices for them. I think Dungeons and Dragons was one of the more expensive ones, which is why I got this, because it's Mill Creek. It was like $10 or whatever, at Walmart. So for now, this will work because there's extra features on the BCI Eclipse version. But like I said, I think that was one of the ones that ended up becoming one of the more pricey sets out there. So there you go. Next up, we got a double feature of Beethoven and Beethoven 2. I know, it's Beethoven. I'm just referencing Bill and Ted. Come on now, work with me. But I love these movies. I still have these VHS tapes from when I was a kid, so I used to watch them all the time. Now, the shitty thing about this DVD is the first movie is in full screen, the second movie is in widescreen. Why they did that, I don't know. But Kino Lorber just announced that they are doing the first movie, and it's actually going to have a director's commentary, because it was actually directed by Brian Levant, who would later do Jingle All the Way. So that should be cool. And then hopefully Beethoven 2 will be coming around the corner. I'll wait for that, because Beethoven 2 did get a Blu-ray overseas in Region B world. There's a UK release, but I'm going to hold off until then, and hopefully Kino will put out at least Beethoven 2. If they put out any of the other ones, I don't give a shit, because I gave up after the second one, kind of like with Free Willy. But love the first two Beethoven movies. Like I said, used to watch the shit out of those on VHS back in the day, and I love the first one, at least the copy that I have. I don't know what printing it is, but that had a commercial for Beethoven on that tape, which I thought was strange. Like, it had a commercial for that movie, and then it also had, because Jurassic Park, I think, came out around the same time. So there's an ad for, Jurassic Park on VHS. Or no, right? Yeah, I think it was. Or maybe that was Beethoven 2, because I think Beethoven 2 was 93. You know what? The first one I think might have been a reprint. I'm not sure. It's been forever since I watched those. And then I would love to find the TV version of Beethoven 2, because that has a bunch of deleted scenes in it. So I can never find that version, because I remember watching it on TV as a kid, and the scene where they go to McDonald's is longer. There's a bunch of... I'm like, what's this? Like, I've never seen this footage before. So there you have it. But yeah, hopefully Kino will put out at least Beethoven 2. I'll be happy with that. Like I said, the rest of them I gave up. I know Judge Reinhold was in a couple of them, but I don't care. Anyway. Next up, I wish this was on Blu-ray. There is bootlegs out there, but Ricochet. I love this film. I think this movie is severely underrated, but I really enjoy it. Now, the quality of this DVD is fucking terrible. I think it might have been a VHS or a Laserdisc transfer, but the quality is fucking awful. I will say that. But very solid movie. One of my favorite Denzel Washington films, and John Lithgow as the villain, and it's directed by Russell Mulcahy, who did Highlander. One of my top 25 movies ever. Yeah, I'm in. But I remember the first time I heard about this, one of my uncles actually had this on DVD, and I was looking through. I'm like, okay, Denzel Washington, John Lithgow, Ice-T. How could I forget Ice-T? And it's directed by the guy that did Highlander. Sounds like my kind of movie, but very solid film. Really enjoy it. Probably, again, because it's Warner Brothers, probably not going to get a Blu-ray, at least anytime soon. So, it is what it is. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get comfortable. Maybe sitting on the floor was not such a good idea, but I got shit everywhere, so there you have it. Alright, so next up, we have The Three Musketeers, the live-action Disney movie. I love this movie. I don't care what anyone says. I love this film. This was one that was constantly on TV when I was a kid, and I would always watch it, and I think I might have it on VHS as well. It is on Blu-ray. I just don't have the Blu-ray yet. But I think, again, because it's fucking Disney, I don't call them Disney, I call them fucking Disney, because they suck. Fuck you, Disney. I hate Disney. I don't think it has any of the features, but it has a making of from back in the day, and then it has the music video for the theme song All for Love, which I love that song. Excuse me. I got so excited I just can't hide it. Sorry. Excuse me. But I got this from Blockbuster, and when they were because what they used to do, it has the original Blockbuster or whatever you want to call it, but back in the day, they used to have just this when you would get the movie, and then they got lazy and they just put the artwork with it. So, and then when they were going out of business, a lot of the movies I would buy, I bought it just to get these, and then when I upgrade these to DVD, I just keep these. So there you go, because I'm fucking nuts. You guys know that. That's why you got me. But love this version of the Three Musketeers. I might still have the book. I might still have the novelization for that movie somewhere up in the attic. I'm not sure. Next up, there is a Blu-ray. I would like to get the Blu-ray. I just don't have it right now. But Surviving the Game. I am also, as I said earlier, I think I talked about it. I am also a sucker, as much as a sucker as I am for Terminator ripoffs. I am also always down for a Most Dangerous Game adaptation. One of the greatest stories ever written, which I read when I was in high school. We read the book in class, and then we watched the original movie from the 30s with Claude Rains, and then of course, Hard Target is one of my favorite action movies. Running Man with Arnold. But I'm always a sucker for a Most Dangerous Game type of film, and that definitely includes this film, which is funny because this came out the year after Hard Target. So there you go. But great cast. Ice-T. We just talked about Ice-T a minute ago as the lead, who I love. Always loved Ice-T. Whether as a rapper or as an actor, I've always liked him as both. Same with LL Cool J. Same with Ice Cube. Even Busta Rhymes, because Trick or Treat Motherfucker, going Kung Fu on Michael Myers' ass. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Halloween Resurrection rules. Piss off. Anyway. But Rucker Hauer, may he rest in peace, is in this. F. Murray Abraham, Charles S. Dutton, John McGinley, who I love, Gary Busey, who's crazy as ever. But there you go. And Ernest Dickerson directed the film, who I've always enjoyed his work too. Definitely one of my favorite movies that he did. I would say Bulletproof is probably my favorite movie that he did. I know he did not like making that movie, but I quite enjoy it. But this is a really fun 90s action film if you haven't seen it. Again, I'm a sucker for the Most Dangerous Game storyline, so there you go. And Scam Factory did put this out on Blu-ray. Unfortunately, I don't think it had any features, but I definitely want to pick that up. So, and what's the line? I can never remember the line that Ice-T says. I think he says something like, you got to take the safety off, bitch, or something like that. And I was just like, fuck yeah, because that was awesome. So there you go. Anyway, we'll get through these next couple here, and then we'll call it a segment. But first up, or next up, or whatever up, what's up? I don't know. We have The Specials, which I think this is the first movie James Gunn wrote, even though I'm not a big James Gunn fan for many reasons. But it's a superhero comedy, but it's like a parody of superheroes as well. But this is actually a really funny movie. I saw this on regular TV, like Fox or something. It was like the Saturday afternoon movie or something like that. They ran it. And they open up with the song Better Days by Citizen King, which I remember when that song came out as a kid, and I still love it to this day. One hit wonder. But that is the opening theme to the movie, so I got hooked right away. And then Rob Lowe's in it, who I love. Jamie Kennedy's in it, who I love. Thomas Hayden Church, who I love. Kelly Caulfield from the only white girl that was on In Living Color, who married the only Asian guy, Steve Park, from In Living Color. So there you go. Michael Weatherly, who at the time was on Dark Angel, which my mom loves that show. Melissa Joan Hart has a cameo. So, yeah, and it's Judy Greer is in it, who would later be in those shitty Halloween films. Jordan Ladd is in it. So, yeah, there's a bunch of people in here. But this is a pretty funny movie as far as I'm concerned. And it is Anchor Bay. Good old Anchor Bay. But there is a Blu-ray for this. I just don't have it yet. So, have to upgrade. But I always thought this movie was really funny. Because I forget which character it is, which hero it is. Okay, it's the Minuteman. His name isn't on here, but everyone calls them Minute Men, like the soldiers in the Revolutionary War. And at the end of the movie, he's like, "It's Minute Man." He goes, "I'm one man. I'm not multiple men." And this girl just looks at him and goes, "Fuck you." And he goes, "No, fuck you." So it's pretty funny. So there you go. Jacob's Ladder. Need I say more? I need to pick this up on Blu-ray. Great movie. Reverse spiral dual layer disc, like that means anything to normal people. So there you go. But definitely one of my favorite psychological, head trip type of movies. Very cool stuff. I haven't watched this in forever. I need to give this movie a spin, so to speak, as the kids say. Because, yeah, I haven't watched Jacob's Ladder in a hot ass minute. So there you go. Great cast, too. Tim Robbins, always liked Tim Robbins as an actor. I don't know why the fuck he would want to be with Susan Sarandon, but oh well. Danny Aiello. I miss Danny Aiello. He's in it. Elizabeth Pena. I miss her too. So there you go. Next, we have DuckTales. Woo! The movie, The Treasure of the Lost Lamp, which I don't know why, honestly, this does not have a Blu-ray, but oh well. But love the DuckTales movie. I think I have the first couple of DVDs because they put out most of the series and then they stopped making the DVDs and then they finished up later on. So I think I have like the first 2 volumes. I need to get the rest of them, but love DuckTales. I know they brought it back a couple years ago. I don't fucking care because they probably made it gay. I'll stick with the original. The non-gay DuckTales. Then we have Fools Rush In, which is actually one of the romantic comedies I actually like. So, Matthew Perry, I don't like Friends. I can tolerate him in this movie. He was never one of my favorite people, especially after he blamed Keanu Reeves for the death of River Phoenix, which made no fucking sense. But, not a bad actor. Just I don't give a fuck about Friends. Friends is one of the worst TV shows ever. Prove me wrong. But Selma Hayek, yeah, Staminkia. So there's that. But this is one that would always run on cable back in the day, and I used to watch it. So that movie I do like. Then we have Akira. This is the old Pioneer DVD. Obviously, Akira is on Blu-ray. But I want to find out if this dub is on the Blu-ray, because this dub actually has Johnny Young Bosch from Power Rangers. So I want to know if that ended up on the Blu-ray releases or not. But you cannot go wrong with Akira, one of the all-time classic animes. Of course, the famous bike slide has been copied a million times in movies and TV shows and video games and cartoons and everything else. So there you go. That just shows you how much influence it has on cinema and entertainment. But Akira is fucking badass. You can't go wrong. And 2 more here. We'll wrap this up real quick. School Ties. Great movie. Absolutely love this movie. Amazing cast. All the guys in this movie were just starting out. There is a Blu-ray overseas from Australia, from Viavision, which has a bunch of extras. I do want to get that. I don't know why this has never come out on Blu-ray here in the States. But really solid drama. Really enjoy this. Brendan Fraser, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Chris O'Donnell, Cole Hauser's in it. What the hell's his name? Anthony Rapp. I couldn't think of his name for a second. Amy Locane, which this is the first time that her and Brendan Fraser played lovers. They would play lovers again in Airheads a couple years after this, but very solid movie. Again, always really enjoyed this film. Very good stuff. Like I said, I don't know why this has never come out on Blu-ray here in America, but I will definitely be grabbing that overseas release at some point. Also, Ed Lauder is in the film. He plays Brendan Fraser's dad from Death Wish 3, among other movies. So there you go. And then last but certainly not least for this part, we've got the first season of Wahlburgers. I just got the second season recently on DVD. I think those were the only 2 they ever put out. But this is hilarious. I really like this show. Alma is the mother's. Unfortunately, she passed away a couple years ago. But this was really funny just to see. Mark's not in it as much as Donnie and Paul and the mother, but just to see them go at it and everything is just fucking hilarious. But all good stuff. And like I said, I did get the second season recently on DVD, so I have to watch back to back soon. All right, so yeah, went a little slightly longer than an hour, but I wanted to get that pile done. So far I got 1, 2, 3 done. I got another pile down here. We'll try to get through that as much as we can in the next segment, and then maybe I'll grab one more off the shelf, and we'll go from there. And I'm just grabbing and pulling stuff, and we'll keep it rocking and rolling. So anyway, we will talk to you guys in a little bit on the next segment. Later.